Everybody doing well? Are we doing great? I don't believe you. And we need a research study on why we're not feeling great. No, just kidding. I did do the healthy thing this morning. I think you'll all be proud of me. I only drank one Monster and not two. So I think we're doing the healthy thing. I am honored to be here, and what I want to do is give yourselves a round of applause for the opportunity for us to be here and doing what you do, and the decision that you've made to be in this room. Unless it's mandatory fun, you can give yourselves a round of applause for that too. But give yourselves a round of applause for being here today. My message for you is that you never know what you might say or what you might do that will change or save a life. You never know who you're going to encounter. You never know what you're doing right now that in 5 years could change a field of study forever. We've all watched shows like ER. When I was a kid, ER was a big thing, or Grey's Anatomy. My mom is a nurse. I've been probably 30 some odd years. I'm 42. She's the director of nursing at a long-term care facility, and I talked to her about patient advocacy, and I speak at many healthcare conferences, and I kind of hear the same things. And this group right here really cares about what they do. And a lot of the healthcare professionals that I speak to, they really care about what they do. Otherwise, you'd be out sipping a Mai Tai on a beach in Mexico somewhere. Am I right? However, the one thing that will always stay constant is you have an opportunity to save or change a life. In 2008, I was deployed to Afghanistan. And my job at the time, from 06 to 09, we ran convoys with the Army. I was what we call in the Air Force a worldwide enabler. What that means is I had a 48-hour to 72-hour go bag at my door because I would get a page that says report for duty, which meant something in the world happened. My job was to recover downed airplanes and pilots. That was my job. I've been all over the world doing military stuff, let's put it that way. What that moment stood out to me was that I never know what I'm going to encounter in that moment. There's a moment where you're like, I know what happened, I just don't know what's going on, because there's a definitive difference. And so there's a little bit of research, if you will, that would need to go into the military members in the room. Who in the room is prior military? Raise your hand. Outstanding. Let's clap it up for the vets. There's a little bit of research that would need to go into what kind of area are we going to? Where is it? Who's there? Do we know who's there? All those types of things. And as we get to the area, we do our thing, we recover, we come out. But in that particular instance, not all of us came home from that deployment. And it kind of hit me hard. December 24th, 2008, had a bottle of Jack Daniels in one hand and a loaded 9mm in the other. And I was done. I was done living this life. I saw no way out. That survivor's guilt is real. My friends who I knew for years, who I served with, no longer here, and it was devastating. Moreover, now I'm going through a divorce because military life is hard. Now I show up to work drunk and get charged with an Article 112, drunk on duty. Can't do that. So now I'm facing all of these things and I'm like, I'm done. I'm over it. I don't want to do this anymore. This isn't fun. Luckily, the people that I served with, the people that I thought didn't really care, I'm just another person in uniform, they showed me that they cared. And so what I learned from that moment is that you never know what someone is carrying around with them, and you never know what they're dealing with. My supervisor was battling the same thing and never said anything to anyone. Him and two other people came, found me, did what they had to do with emergency room and the protocol that goes along with that. I learned something else, and I think it's one of the most important things that everybody in here knows, but it bears repeating. It doesn't matter what you know until someone knows how much you care. In that moment, there were bonds that were made. And I know that the guys were really smart, but once I knew how much they cared, it gave just a little more credibility. You work with people every day. You see them every day. I just want you to ask them, how are you? If we're really about collaboration, does that mean that we just do a little bit more? Just ask one more question. And so with that, I want to give you 3 questions that you can ask every single day, and it will change your life. You ready? Give me an oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now we can all go home. That was pretty good. I know I'm stopping you from the booze and the hors d'oeuvres later, but the first question that I have to ask is, what are you willing to do more than anybody else? In whatever it is that you do the best, what are you willing to do more of than anybody else? Is there one more thing? Not do more, like I already do a lot. I'm not talking about that. It's like when we're doing our PT test in the military, it's one more push-up, one more sit-up. Or when I'm with my kids, let's spend one more minute. That's what they're good at, right? Anybody got kids? One more time. You're like, we gotta go. They're closing. One more time. They're always one more. And so inspired by my kids, what are you willing to do one more of? You could ask one more question. And that's what they did. They gave an opportunity for me to ask, and they made themselves vulnerable. Also, what's great about this is that I've learned that I'm not the only one who have ever felt anything like that before. And so in the studies and in the work that you do, I wonder if there's an opportunity to learn a little bit more. Somebody had said something earlier about cell membrane structure. I learned everything and nothing today. This was absolutely incredible. I know nothing about like the medical and the research stuff. I learned so much and nothing at all. Somebody said something about cell membrane structure and things like that. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't even know what a lipid is. Okay, it'll go over. You'll get it when you go home. And so I'm thinking, I'm like, what an amazing opportunity that we all get to do what we do in any capacity, whatever that looks like. What an amazing opportunity that you get to do what you do. And you get to learn so many amazing things. Just sitting in the back and looking at the slides and listening to people, like they're so passionate about what they do that someone who is not in this field like me can come in and watch and pick up on the behaviors that you really love what you do. And some of you I've seen, when you talk about it, you light up. You could do anything you want in the world. You could be anywhere, you could do anything. But the choice that you made to be here today and the choice to do the work that you do matters. And that's why I want to thank you for everything that you have done and will do, because you never know what that next discovery is that changes a field. And wouldn't it be cool if you're like, I had a hand in that. Like I get to see the fruit of the labor. It's like you're doing all the work and then one day it goes to publication and then it goes to implementation and all of a sudden it becomes a process because somebody took the time to research it and was interested about it. I think that's the coolest thing. Anybody with me? Couple people, all 2 of you, thank you. Who's not going to raise their hand no matter what I say? There's always a couple. There's always a couple. What are you willing to do more of? And so I ask you, in your personal life or in your professional life, what are you willing to do more of? I have a daughter named Mackenzie. Mackenzie's 11, going on 12, or maybe 18, depending on who you ask. On a military base in May and November, we have what's called Month of the Military Family. And so usually they'll have some pony rides and some games, and it's like a big weekend event. Usually in May, if it's good weather, everybody's out and you're barbecuing and everybody's having fun. So she's about 6 years old. We go up to the event, and there's this huge rock wall. It has all four sides, I'd say probably about 25 feet. Like, this is like a big kid activity. This is like Army Rangers school for teenagers, all right? I mean, this is like an expert rock wall, and then it shoots up and back, so you have to like lean back to like hit the buzzer. She's like, Dad, I really want to do that. I'm like, I mean, that's a big kid activity. I don't think you can do that. She's like, please, Dad, please, I really want to do this rock wall. I'm like, all right. So we get her strapped in, and the guy's looking at her. He's like, are you ready? And she's like, I am so ready. And it looks like she's about to run an entire marathon. And she looks at me and looks at the guy, and he's like, go. I'm like, it's over. Nope, she shoots up the wall, like faster than I thought she was going. She shoots up this wall and then reaches and then gets stuck. So not only am I impressed, but I'm sad at the same time. I'm like, I really thought she was not gonna make it, but the fact that she did was like super, super cool. She gets stuck at the part I knew at that expert level, and she looks down at me, and she's hanging off this wall, and she's like, Dad, I can't. Well, as a dad, what do you say? Any dads in here? What do you say? So I look up, I'm like, that's okay, Mackenzie. You tried. I'm a really good dad. The guy at the rock wall, big burly man, looks at me. He's like, hey, that's your daughter, Mackenzie, right? That's your daughter? I was like, yeah. He's like, hey, Mackenzie, try again. Brilliant. With her newfound hope given to her by the man at the rock wall, and not her dad, she looks down at me. She looks up. She squats and she shoots for that next level, hits the buzzer, lights go off. She has all of her little friends cheering her on. The guy at the rock wall's clapping it up. I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. She gets down, and I wanted to high five her and say I knew you could do it, but I didn't. I just said, you rock. The guy at the rock wall looks at me and he goes, man, you must be so proud. That's fantastic. So what is it that you do? And I'm not in uniform, but I was a speaker at the time, and I said, I'm a motivational speaker. Not a very good one, apparently. I discounted her twice. Twice I did that to her. I said she couldn't do it in the beginning, and then at the top I was like, I knew it, it's over. So then I decided I'm gonna ask this question every day. What am I willing to do differently? If you don't ask, what am I willing to do differently? You will always repeat the same behavior. You will always repeat the same mistakes, and you'll always get the same result. And I don't have to tell you about results and doing things differently. I'm sure that you do it all the time, but I just want you to think, what am I willing to do differently? And I thought about this after that moment. And even outside of the Air Force, I thought about, what am I willing to do more of? I could do anything, be anyone, go anywhere. What do I want to do more of? Sometimes it's doing less. Maybe I do less of, no, you can't do it, instead of looking down and going, oh no, that's too hard. Instead, do less of that and do more encouraging. Do more. And that's what great leaders do. Great leaders inspire other people to do great big things, to take massive action. Leadership is about building up other leaders around you and not just building followers. Life isn't just one big social media where we just build up a lot of followers around us and they just cheerlead us on. Leadership is all about building up other leaders around us. And like Jim Rohn said, a rising tide lifts all ships. It truly does. And collaboration is in your title. It's in your name. The TRC4 that has collaborative in it. You all have an opportunity to have a rising tide. And so I ask you, what are you willing to do more of? And what are you willing to do differently? How I've taken that into perspective is after that 2008 moment, I had to go through all the therapies. They were like, listen, man, like you are on really thin ice and probation and all that. And I had a captain at the time, Captain Shepard. Captain Shepard was like the military guy. He walked in, his command presence was like, I'm either gonna get a hug or get killed. That was pretty much his demeanor. You never knew if this guy was happy or sad. He's like that type of guy. Super cool dude, awesome leader. He tells me, he's like, you have an opportunity here to grow or not. And I don't want to see that happen. I found out later, he had told all of the command, he's like, if we kick this guy out of the military, he's not going to last on the outside. Like he will take his life on the outside. We have to help him. At least we can help him while he's here. And whatever he does on the outside, he does on the outside, but at least we can give him the tools to survive here. And it wasn't like I was a bad airman. It's just I had a lot of big feelings and not a lot of resilience. So as I go through therapy, as I'm talking to medical professionals, as I'm talking to chaplains, as I'm going through what the Air Force has, ADAPT, alcohol dependency and prevention and treatment. So you go through that when you have like an alcohol-related incident. And as I'm learning about those things and learning about myself, I'm like, man, I really need to do something different. Like I really, really, really need to do something different. I always wanted to be someone of value. Success comes because of the value. You can be a person of value or a person of success. I look at it as I want to be a person of value because success and money and friendships and all the things are the byproduct of the value that you deliver. And we all have a tremendous amount of value. In this room, the collective in this room has so much value to give. I mean, the collective IQ alone is skyrocketing as we speak. You all have an opportunity like no other. And I thought to myself, I'm like, if I could just work on me, because how can I be a better leader in the military if I can't even lead my own life? That's what I was thinking. And so as I went through all the therapy and I went through everything that I had to go through, by April of 2009, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I'm in the gym, I'm doing mental fitness and physical fitness, and I'm leading other people, and I'm joining these groups, and I'm really like, I want to invest in me, and I want to invest in other people. Captain Shepard says, you have made a powerful transformation. Our unit is closing down next year. I'm at my 4 years in this special duty. He's like, I really think that you need to go get re-blued, which basically means that you need to go get screamed at by the professionals, AKA drill instructors. He's like, I really think you need to go back to basic training, but I think you'd make a great instructor. I'm like, what? My drill instructor was from the 3rd level of hell. Why would I ever want to go do that? He's like, you never know who you're going to meet. I'm like, fine. So we went through the process. I got accepted, and I did my 4 years from 09 to 13 at Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio. Best 4 years of my life. I got re-blued. I found all kinds of friendships and groups and started speaking. I became a national drill judge for junior ROTC. And then I started getting booked at high schools. Then I started getting booked at colleges. They wanted to know about my suicide story. Then I started getting booked for other events, like healthcare events and things. And I was like, man, maybe there's a thing to this. Maybe there's a little something. What could I do more of? What could I do differently? And then what happened was I went to Seymour Johnson Air Force Base in 2013, and they were looking for instructors for a resilience program. The military had an idea that maybe we need to inject more resilience into our military community because 2012 just happened to be the deadliest year between the Army and the Air Force, with people going to jail, suicides, domestic violence. It was one of the most deadliest years, especially with suicides and DUIs. What ended up happening was they decided that they would put a couple people through the instructor corps. That entailed going to the University of Pennsylvania, getting certified in their resilience program. We brought it back with our team from the Air Force and the Army, and we created what we called the Master Resilience Program. And that resilience program was launched in 2012 and 2013, and then the Army stood it down in about 23-ish, 24, to revamp it. The Air Force is doing the same thing right now. When I say that you never know who you're going to meet, you never know what you're going to do that's going to change a life. In 2016, I'm delivering a resilience seminar. We used to do half-day resilience seminars in mental, social, emotional, and spiritual resilience skills. A Marine is sitting about midway on a corner seat. After that half day, we then did an inspirational session. At the end of the inspirational session, he comes up to me, he's like, I didn't know about this. Somebody said I should go. But I thought to myself, if I don't learn anything here, I'm just going to go home and end my life. And I don't think I want to do that anymore. And all of us were like, holy crap. It was that moment where I was like, I have to do this full time. I have to do, this is what I'm supposed to do. So us and the USO team, we hugged it out, and we're all crying, like the ugly snot crying, that you do at the end of movies. Right, guys? No man raised their hand ever. At that moment, we became friends, and I still talk to him 10 years later. He's out of the Marine Corps. He's retired. Family's great. Life's great. He's working a job. He loves it. He's on 4 softball teams. He's doing good. But I feel like if I wouldn't have had that story in 2008, if I wouldn't have had that moment, I wouldn't have been able to be an instructor. So I had to have that moment. And then I had to learn how to tell that story. And then when I figured out how to tell that story, I could build a platform to tell that story on. You never know what you're going to do that's going to save or change a life. You never know that breakthrough that might come that will save or change your life. And you may never meet that person ever. As a speaker, I don't know who I'm talking to right now, but someone here may say, man, I feel like he's talking to me. I never know as a speaker how my message is going to land. But I do know that somewhere, wherever I speak, my hope is that someone says, man, I really needed to hear that. Because you never know what you're going to do or say that's going to change your life. I wrote my first book in 2016. I started my radio show called Life Transformation Radio in 2017. And I interviewed all kinds of people. Tom Ziegler, Zig Ziglar's son, interviewed Bruce Buffer from the UFC, interviewed all kinds of people from Tony Robbins' crews and events, and did 476 episodes of that show. And I learned one other crucial point during those years. And the third question that I want you to ask yourself every single day, if you ask no other question, ask this: how will I connect? How will I connect? We're all connected in social media. We're all connected everywhere we go. I even seen the self-driving cars that Austin has. Anybody been in those things? Nobody. 2 people, outstanding. I thought, I was like, I've heard about them, but I was like, that's super cool. We're still connected. In every way today, we're connected. In the work that you do, it's connected. You have an opportunity to learn something from someone else in this room, to then take that back into what you're doing. You have an opportunity to network and connect in a way that brings real meaning, because what you do has real meaning. And the deeper you go, the more lives can be saved. I saw so many research studies, I'm like, we need that, like for sure. I saw a couple inventions that someone's carrying around. I'm like, we need that too. Like, it's so cool. A person on the outside coming in and looking in, and I'm talking to people in the hallway, I'm like, this is so cool. And they're like, yeah. Like they get to say that, you know, they're like, yeah. You know, like it's like an everyday thing. You know, like if I worked at Google and somebody came in and like, this is so cool. I'll be like, yeah. Like that's how I kind of felt, like a kid in a candy store. I'm like, this is so cool. There's so many things that people are doing, and maybe the outside world will never hear about it. It's not like you post a research study on Facebook and go, look what I just did. I don't think you do you? But when it comes into the implementation process, when it comes into the later stages and it's FDA approved and all the things, it's pretty cool to look back and go, I had a hand in that. I took the same pride whenever we were fixing aircraft. So I was an aircraft mechanic, and then I went to security forces, which is basically Air Force LEO, and then went into special duties and came back in and out of the career field. It was so cool working 14 hours on an aircraft. Like, there's no way this thing's gonna fly. And somebody goes, hold my beer. And then 14 hours later, with 2 shifts of people, at 9 a.m., the pilot comes out and he's like, I hope it works. And we're like, us too, because we spent 14 hours on it. And it flies. And it flies flawlessly. And it works as advertised. It was such an amazing feeling. You're like, awesome, I'm going to bed. I'll see you tomorrow. You know, like 14, 16-hour days. It's like, look what I get to do. Things that I think about with the military, and some of the vets can agree. I couldn't take leave without telling 6 people, filling out 9 forms, and checking in every day. Yet they gave me a toolbox and told me to go fix a $34 million aircraft. But yet I couldn't go on leave without telling 6 people. That's the things I think about. We used to have safety briefings on why we can't play Pokemon Go on the flight line and have our phones in classified areas. Yet, I'm told to report to the safety brief at 1500 or the commander will drop kick you in the face. These are things that we're told in the military. I think about the funny moments where somebody says, we're going to trust you with these explosives, but you're going to take a wingman to go to the bathroom with. Didn't make a whole lot of sense to me at the time. But then again, we don't really question too much that goes on, because somewhere somebody did something stupid, and that's why it says caution hot on a cup from McDonald's. And so I think about these moments of connection, and I think about these moments, has anyone messed up so bad? Sir, you're going to love this. Has anyone messed up so bad that you had to carry a flower around because you were taking up too much oxygen, and you and that flower needed a connection? No? Has anyone messed up so bad that you mopped rain? No, just me? Those are the things that I remember. Those are the connections that I remember where you get screamed at so bad because you mess something up. You're like, go mop rain. You're like, ha, so funny. And then they hand you a mop. You're like, I'm not kidding, go. You're like, what? And it's raining and you're mopping rain. And I'm like 2 years in the military. I'm like, there's no way this is a real punishment. No, it's a real punishment. I mopped rain for like 20 minutes. I might as well just stood in a corner. Those are the things that I think about. And then I became a supervisor. And I didn't necessarily do those things, but I became a supervisor and I was like, oh, I've gotten phone calls at 7 a.m. I was like, hi, can you come get me from jail? I'm like, oh man, because I know I got to be in blues too the next day. These are the things that I think about. And then I wonder, what kind of son was I? I remember setting my garage on fire at 16. I didn't really remember how I did it. I just remember being in the garage. I'm like, oh crap, that's not good. And then my mom ran out. Like, these are the things that I remember. These are the connections that I remember. My human potential wasn't always there, but I quickly learned life experience teaches you more than anything else. I can tell you, you can tell you, you can tell everybody in here one thing and they're like, that'll never happen to me. Who's ever heard that? Who's ever said that? It'll never happen to me. And then it does. You're like, oh crap. And then my mom would turn around and go, I told you. I literally told you what was going to happen. Or you tell your troops, or you tell the people, like, I wouldn't do that if I were you. That's not going to work. Like, it'll be fine. It didn't work, and it didn't end well. The human potential wasn't always there, but you connected to it. Those life experiences that you all have, it doesn't matter if you're just starting out or you've been doing what you're doing for 30 years. You have an opportunity to save or change a life. And you don't need a title to be a leader. Even the newest fellow, we saw some fellows earlier, right? Even the newest person coming in brings a life experience, brings a new way of thinking. Human potential is always there. Knowledge isn't power. It's the massive action that follows the knowledge. You just got to get the knowledge first. That's what I've learned the most in life. Knowledge is not power. It's the action that I take after I've learned it, because like I said before, you could be doing anything that you want to be doing in life. And sometimes we repeat the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. We reread the same chapters of our life over and over again, thinking that somehow it's going to change. Today is the day that you get to decide to turn that page and start writing that success story. If you're questioning, man, I don't know, it's really hard, it's really tough. I was talking to some students earlier, and I asked them, I says, why do you do what you do? What is it that you love the most? I'm like, let me think about that for a second. I'm like, please do. I want you to think about that. Even at 11 years old, I asked Mackenzie, when she's looking up gymnastics videos, she loves gymnastics, and she's looking up gymnastics videos. It's like, why do you look that up? Well, because I want to learn, because I want to do it. Why? Why that? And she thought that it was something super cool, and she's really flexible, and she does a lot of backflips and things, and she's really good at it. It makes her feel good. Like, you should do more of that. It's like, with gymnastics? No. Things that make you feel good. Things that bring you joy. Things that bring you fulfillment, and whatever that looks like. If the military came out with a video and said, listen, you should join the most amazing military in the world. It's going to be awesome. You're going to go to 120 degree temperature, and you're going to wear a gas mask, and you're going to sweat for 12 hours. And then you're going to take a battle buddy with you, and then you're going to go to the bathroom together. Then you may or may not get shot at while going to the bathroom. Oh, and you might have to go to some places that we can't pronounce. People in high school will be like, I'm never doing that ever. The journey is what it is for everybody. Your journey, your individual journey is what it is for you. But your end result, your destination that you're going to is yours and yours alone. You get to decide what that looks like. I think that's pretty cool. You get to decide what that looks like as far as your destination. When I talk to companies, I tell them, like, you have two choices. And I guess this would apply here. When I go to companies, I tell them you have two choices. You can be a destination workplace or a resignation workplace. People don't quit bad jobs. They quit bad bosses. People don't sit there and go, I love my spouse so much I can't wait to divorce them. Said nobody ever, right? You can be a destination workplace or a resignation workplace. You get to decide. As a leader, you get to decide those things. The leader of your life, the leader of your destination, and whatever that looks like for you along that journey. Because I'm sure everybody here remembers 2 a.m. finals, freaking out. Maybe they had 4 cans of Red Bull sitting on a desk. Maybe they had a whole group of people around and they get to equally freak out. But everybody remembers the moment. How you had to go through that moment of freaking out to then pass that class and go, thank God that's over. Who remembers at least one of the professors and something about them? Raise your hand. Who remembers? Everybody remembers the one. I guarantee you, it doesn't matter in what year you joined the military, every single person remembers their drill instructor. Am I right? Every single person remembers the first time you went on to that bus and you got screamed at. If you try to run, we will catch you. Like, who's trying to run? And then you get screamed at by about this close and you're like, what did I just do? And you really think about what was in that piece of paper that I just signed. What did I just sign up for? That's the connection that I will never forget. And so you can do more of anything you love. You can do it differently. You have an opportunity to do it differently. You're doing it already with every study that you have. You're doing it differently. You're figuring out new ways to new problems. And then connection. So here is what I came up with. You want to clip the slide for me? Appreciate it. This is what trauma research teaches us about healing and human performance. The psychological safety drives the performance. This is kind of the things that I thought about. If I could say anything to anyone here today, this is what I want you to know. Stronger collaboration, learning behavior, and innovation. You are doing it. The innovation that you're coming up with, the new procedures, the new ways of doing things, you're doing that. And in 5 years, you can look back and go, that was incredible. What an amazing opportunity. Resilience reduces burnout and improves recovery. But what does it mean to be resilient? Resilience, by my definition, and what we came up in the Army and Air Force MRT program, was your ability to withstand, recover, and grow through stress, anxiety, and life's changing demands. One thing is constant: changing demands. Change is the number one constant in life. And so you can roll with the change or get rolled over by it. Growth mindedness, change management, these are all hot topics. And so resilience is all about your ability to withstand, recover, and grow. Because it's not enough just to go through something, you have to grow through it. And everyone here remembers that path to where you are right now. And I have heard some amazing stories. and some of the things that you had to do to get there. Who's in like a trauma surgeon? I know there's a couple trauma surgeons. Like, you remember those hard cases. You remember that moment. You may not remember what happened before and immediately after, but if I asked you, tell me the most memorable moment at 4 a.m. in a trauma unit, you could be like, oh man, and immediately emotion takes over. You remember it. Trauma impacts your decision making and your behavior. I couldn't do what you all do. I just know me. Because if I have to sit there in the field and be a medical technician in the field and try to stop bleeding, like we can do that. We all do self-aid buddy care, but you hand me like some medical supplies or devices or a scalpel or something else, and I'm gonna go, I can't believe I have to do this to another human. I've been in those situations, I've watched it, and I've had conversations. One of my best friends is an E7 and we call him a med tech, and like I've been downrange with the guy, and I'm like, dude, how, I can't wrap my head around what makes a person want to get into this field to do that thing. Even surgeons, no matter what you like, especially like a brain surgeon, I'm like, there's no way. One nick and it's like, it's over. I don't know if I want that pressure. I don't know if I want that. No, I'm alone. I'm the only one. I love that reaction. She's like, no. I think about that stuff. I'm like, praise you for doing all that. Like that, I don't know anything about it, but that sounds hard. But the great thing is that you have so much training, and there's always somebody going, what if we did it a different way? What if we did this one thing? What if we had this one moment? And you all have the moment right now in this room as a collective. And so as we wind down this amazing day one of this event, I want you to think back to when you arrived here and were welcomed by an amazing registration team. I want you to think about this morning when we heard from the executive director, Dr. James Bynum, and witnessed his big heart. He reminded us that we're all part of something greater than ourselves. James inspired us with his message of collaboration. He told us how important it was to work across the proverbial tables, to live the brand of collaboration, and to foster that as a core value. We heard from amazing speakers like Dr. Jane Wigington. This group has the ability to make change where you couldn't before. Her message was that every day you get to create hope. Her passion is to unlock therapies and treatments that maybe never existed before. And that gives her hope. Dr. Robert Miller says he's here to support the UT system in every capacity possible. He loves working together, and the collaboration creates what he calls the perfect trifecta. Dr. Jeffrey Freeman immersed us into the world of technology and the various kinds of threats. He reminded us that the world is intricately connected and it all works together. And so do you. Dr. Jen Gurney taught us that experience is what saves lives. She believes that standards are incredibly important, and that message of effectiveness in medical capabilities hits home no matter where you are in your medical professional life. Dr. John Zerwas expertly explained that research doesn't just stop at the publication process. It requires trust and a shared commitment to work together. He challenged us to dive into new innovation studies and to spark new ideas in whatever field you're in. He said, let's move that collaboration forward in all ways together. Dr. Celeste Finnerty introduced you to research fellows and how powerfully they're utilizing that concept of collaboration. You heard scientific sessions from industry experts and young professionals who are so passionately intertwined in their fields, and they showcased that passion for you. I challenge you to celebrate them and to celebrate you and to celebrate the work that you're doing every single day, because you never know what you might say or what you might do that will change a life. And so as we close, which really doesn't mean anything, but it gives everybody hope that I'm almost done, I want you to personally and professionally reflect on this. What will the next year look like for you? Where will you go? Who will you meet? What stories will you tell here next year when you're welcomed again to this landmark community? I want to thank you so much for your hospitality, for inviting me here, for listening to me, for everything that you do as a collaborative effort. I want to thank you for all of what you have done and will do. And we'll see you later on today for the poster session. Thank you so much for your undivided attention. It meant the world to me to be here. Thank you.